Party. So hi Facebook. um, so yeah, let's get started. Um, got my water, got my monster. Let me know how your day is going. Hashtag I'm here in the comments and hashtag replay if you're watching this on replay. Again, the topic is getting more in control of your hunger cues. Because, like I said, I talk to moms a lot in the DMs about emotional eating, about craving, snacking, sweet tooth, all of that. And so, this is how you can kind of use intuitive eating to gain control of that. Because if you can gain control of your hunger and eating, then you're going to be more successful on your nutrition journey. So, let's get into it. So the first tip is practicing undistracted eating. And I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this before, but I don't really hear it talked about a lot, especially in the nutrition and fitness industry, is not eating distracted as far as like watching TV, being on your phone, social media, texting, etc. Because if you are distracted while eating, it's a lot harder to focus on whether or not you are full or if you're eating past full. Most coaches coach on calories, and so those calories would be your boundaries, so to speak, um, as far as like you can have a meal that's 5 to 800 calories, um, and so you would stop after you reached your calories or whatnot. But with intuitive eating, you're really focusing on stopping when you're satisfied, which it takes paying attention to your body and like checking in with yourself constantly, like if you are satisfied. Because like I know we've all been there when we're super, super hungry and we're just like inhaling our food and devouring it and it tastes so good. Um, and then we're like, oh my God, I'm stuffed, I'm so full, and that means you ate past full. But if you practice undistracted eating, then it's a lot easier to hone into those cues. So if you do this for at least one meal a day, then you're on the right track. The next tip is focus on thirst first. So thirst first just means that you're first going to feel your thirst cues, and you're going to drink 2 to 3 liters of water a day. And it's crazy because thirst can be confused easily for hunger. And the reason why that is a lot of us are mildly dehydrated, right? And then you think about that the body gets 30% of its water from food, which is crazy. Hi, Tracy. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. The body gets 30% of its um, water from food. So if you're mildly dehydrated and your body gets water from food as well, then that could easily lead to overeating. So if you find yourself being hungry and you just simply drink some water first, just to clear things up and just make sure, then that way you're not like overeating on calories in the day. Just because your body doesn't really know the difference between your thirst cues and your hunger cues. But if you drink water first, you're still going to be hungry, right? If you drink the water first, you're still going to be hungry. But if you eat the food, then you're not going to be thirsty anymore because your body just got the water it needed from your food. So, thirst first. Drink your water first, 2 to 3 liters. Next tip is to honor your hunger cues. And honoring your hunger cues, like that probably might sound foreign to you as well. So this means eating when you're hungry, no restriction, no starvation, no like just eating only 1,200 calories a day or 800 calories a day or starving yourself or forgetting to eat. Like, you also have to tune into when you're hungry, because if you're not and you do go all day without eating, and like oftentimes there's days like we're just super super busy and you're like, oh my god, I haven't eaten all day, and then that can lead to overeating as well. So eat when you're hungry. You want to, because I mean, think about this. Anytime our body has any type of cue, whether it's to like scratch and we're itching, or if we are like have to use the bathroom, like pee or poop or whatever, we listen to our body. Like, we don't question whether we have to pee or poop or scratch. We just do it. So it's the same thing with hunger. You don't want to question um when you're hungry, just eat. And you said, Tracy, no intermittent fasting. I try it off and on. So that is a great question. I'm glad you bring this up. And if you don't mind, I will save that question to the very end. um, because I have tried intermittent fasting, and the answer that I have to that might surprise you. So, yeah, just eat when you are hungry. So, also, the next tip then is to honor when you're full or honor when you're satisfied. And thanks, Tracy. I appreciate you. So, honor when you're full just means just simply stop. Just remind yourself that the food is still going to be there. Because when we were growing up, our parents often guilted us into finishing our plates. And so they may have said, like, oh, the kids in Africa. Sorry, this cracks me up. The kids in Africa would be so grateful for the food that you have on your plate right now. Like, okay, wait a minute. First of all, there's homeless people in America. So why do we got to go to Africa? But, anyways, and then they may have said, like, we're not wasting any food around here. That's wasting money. Or you're not getting up from this table, young lady or young man, till you finish your plate. And so, like, we had to sit there and eat past our hunger cues, right? Um, and then, as far as like if I'm rewinding and going back to the last slide that I was on, Instagram, you can't see my slides, unfortunately, but um, eating when you're hungry, um, that all, like, if you think about it, when we first came out of the womb, we ate when we were hungry and we stopped when we were full. Like, the baby didn't have to be told, like, here, you need to eat. No, it freaking cries when it's ready to eat, and it falls asleep on the breast or on the bottle when it's done eating. And so we intuitively ate when we were babies, and then this all stopped when we got older, and our parents like held us at the table until we finished our food. Um, and they guilt tripped us into eating all of our food. um, and emotional eating came into play when we were like sad, and they tried to cheer us up with food, or every single thing that went well, whether we got good grades or if some type of celebration that happened in the family, or you did anything well, then it happened with food. So then we linked emotion to food, right? So this is how we have to like kind of break that. And Tracy says that um, you grew up, oh, one of 14 kids, sheesh. And so your dad always said waste is a disgrace. Oh yeah, but you taught your kids different. I love that. I love that you taught your kids different. But man, yeah. Whew, yeah, your parents, they probably didn't play any games having 14 kids. So that's understandable, like they didn't know any better. They probably got it from their parents. Like maybe there was generations that went through the Great Depression. Like we don't know what generations went through when it came to food. So, um, oh yeah, see, your dad grew up the same way. So yeah, they were just passing on these traditions on to us, essentially. So they didn't know any better. They thought that they were doing what they were supposed to be doing according to society and how they grew up. So next is if you have a sweet tooth, go for it. And so I say this because we don't want to label foods as good or bad. When you hear me talk about carbs, for instance, you'll hear me say processed. Like I say process, 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 or you'll hear me say man made. And when I talk about healthy carbs, I'll say healthy carbs. But we don't want to label foods as good or bad because it causes this guilt when we are eating them, and then that guilt may cause us to restrict because like society says like, oh, you're going to be fat if you eat x, y, and z. Well, yeah, you will if you eat it in excess. So that's where it comes in, like having moderation and not bringing it in the house, buying single servings maybe when you're out, and you can, pick up a single serving when you're like at the gas station or going through a drive-through and just getting your little cone of ice cream. You don't necessarily have to buy a whole gallon of ice cream at the grocery store, even though it is cheaper that way. Um, because for me personally, I struggle with self-control. So I know myself. I know that if I bring it in the house, it's gonna get eaten. So I'll just out and personally get single servings of things when I have a craving. So honor your cravings. It doesn't mean that you have to be on this terrible cycle of thinking a food is bad, labeling it's bad, restricting yourself from it. And then the first chance that you get of eating it, you just go ham, go all in, binge on it, and then have guilt. And then it's just this terrible cycle. So honor your sweet tooth and then trust yourself to make mindful decisions. Don't bring it in the house to begin with. Buy single servings. Even though it's more expensive, your health is worth it. Next tip is heal your emotions, just not with food. So I talked a little bit about how emotional eating came into play growing up when we were needing to be cheered up. Our parents maybe took us to go get ice cream. When there was any celebration, we did something well. You do the dishes, I'll give you ice cream. Like everything was rewarded with ice cream. We weren't usually taught rewards that didn't have to do with food, um, unless your parents gave you like allowance, for instance. But as adults, we need to learn to deal with our emotions that don't involve food. So, like when my clients lose weight, for instance, I'm I'm not like, yeah, go treat yourself to some food, girl. No, like you do that anyways in moderation throughout your journey. But when you've like hit some type of like milestone in your weight loss journey, for instance, you can go buy yourself like some pink dumbbells or like a cute sports bra or a cute outfit. Um, or deal with your emotions by journaling, going for a walk, talk to your support system, get some therapy, breathing exercises, work out, stretch, read a book, listen to music, get some rest. Those are healthy ways of dealing with your emotions and just learning to sit in the emotion, realize where it came from, what the origin was, and handle the origin of the issue. Even if it's like deep rooted in your inner child, then maybe you need to do some inner child work. Um, because even, for instance, the gym may be therapeutic, but it's not therapy. I'll say that again. The gym may be therapeutic, but it is not therapy. So I highly suggest, getting professional help if that's what's needed so that you're not dealing with your emotions with food. So my next tip is do purposeful and joyful movement because, again, I keep going back to when we were kids. refer back to when you were a kid. What did you do? You went outside, you played on the playground, you did recess, you did sports. You just went outside and you had fun. It shouldn't be any different becoming an adult, having joyful, purposeful movement because um, that's important. If you feel like working out is a chore, then do something you love. Like you love to swim, okay, get a gym membership that has swimming. Like try something different. Is it rock climbing, biking, hiking? Find something that you really love to do. Maybe do a club sport. And then you're going to find that exercise is a lot more of a chore, a lot less of a chore, and more enjoyable. You took up golf in your 30s, Tracy, and can do it for hours when the weather is good. Yeah, and golfing is it's hard work. Well, one of my grandfathers actually lives on a golf course. And so, that I think that that's pretty cool. And so he would take me golfing and, that swinging and walking the course and like all of that, it's exercise. So yeah, do something that you love, and you'll find that you will have a healthier, like, overall life. So, next is love your body the way it is now, because it would be a huge mistake to think that you are just gonna love your body just because it's 20 to 40 pounds lighter. I promise you, because there have been times, because I've been on multiple weight loss journeys myself. I've had two kids. I've had to lose weight after both kids, and there have been times where I still saw the chubby version of me in the mirror in my mind's eye, even though I had lost the weight. Tracy said that's the hard one. Can't remember when I did. It's hard. It's a journey. It really is. And so it takes work. But even if your body doesn't look the way society says that it should, like, one of the things that I personally do is I go on Instagram and I purposefully look for influencers that look like me, because I have stretch marks. I've had kids, and my genetics didn't give me the elasticity in my skin to not have stretch marks. So I purposefully go on social media and I look for people that have I look for women that have stretch marks that promote body positivity. I am not skinny, even though I'm into fitness and I work out. I am not skinny by any means. I consider myself thick fit. And so I look for women who are also like bottom heavy, stacked in their legs and their butt like me, like Serena Williams, for instance, like other like power lifters, weightlifters that are also thick. So yeah, go out, look for women that look like you, because there's all types of body positive influencers out nowadays, and follow those people, because who we look up to really does matter. So my next tip is just remember that your body is way more intelligent than you give it credit for. Like I said, when we were babies and we were breastfeeding or on the bottle, we didn't question our hunger cues. We didn't question our fullness cues. We cried when we were hungry, and um, we stopped eating or fell asleep when we weren't anymore. So it's all about learning how to get back to that, by dealing with our emotions in the way that we are supposed to, practicing that undistracted eating so that we're like tuning into ourselves, drinking water when we're thirsty, drinking water when we're hungry first, thirst first, and then going for our food. And then I have on here some more optional tips as well, such as like eating in a specific order. Um, and it's kind of like prioritizing the more um, calorie free or lower calorie things that are on your plate first, to like your more nutrient dense to having your more calorie heavy things. So the order is your water first, then eat your veggies second, then eat your protein third, then eat your veggies. Um, eat your healthy carbs last. Excuse me. And then you may end up finding yourself not needing to eat your whole plate of food. Um, or another optional tip is just packing away some of the food. And I did this myself yesterday. Yesterday, I had like way too much meat on my tacos. I'm like, these are freaking full. Like they are packed. So like I just like poured some of the toppings out and put it to the side. And sure enough, I did get full way before I thought I would. And so what I did was I just simply saved the rest of the food that was left. And even though I had ate the tortillas, then I went back and I just like put some salsa on the meat that I had left over, put a little sour cream on it, and then ate just the protein with just some more toppings on it. So save some of your food for later. Like it's gonna be there. Like even though our parents may have taught us, like how you said, Tracy, waste of disgrace, or don't get up from this table until you finish your food, or the kids in Africa would be happy to have what you have on your plate. Like we can train ourselves to get out of that mindset and like tell ourselves that the food's still gonna be there. The food is still gonna be there. And then you could also just use a smaller plate. So, like, usually we often pack, like, our food on those, big size dinner plates, but you could just use like the smaller size plates and not smaller portions. So, most coaches teach on calories, but if you simply use the smaller plate, then that's smaller portions. And then smaller portions means less calories. Um, and um, I do this too, as my kids and my dogs like to come and take my apples. But I keep a baggie of apples and I keep bananas also in my room, and I keep a water pitcher in my room too, because I find that like I get hungry, like, and so I honor my hunger cues, and when I get hungry I want to grab something, so I keep apples and bananas, and you could even do oranges because those are in a peel and can stay warm for a little bit too. And just eat when you're hungry and you have something healthy to grab, and keep it close by. So I think that was all of my optional tips here. I was just trying to make sure. But yeah, so those are all of my tips that I have for the night. It's already been 23 minutes, guys. So thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Tracy, you had a question about intermittent fasting that I want to go back to. You said that's a hard one. Oh no, sorry. Even that's 130, but need to be 120 again, and then that's a good idea. So let me get back to your intuitive or intermittent fasting. So, when it comes to keto, or intermittent fasting, or literally any other diet that's out there, um, all of them have a 95% fail rate, all diets across the board. So, fasting in particular, yes, it's perfectly fine to do. You can fast if you'd like. um, just in my personal experience, I found that um, I I find that you have to be one consistent with it, and then two, with you packing in your calories all in one like um, hourly cycle, because I forget what it's called when you have like that period where you're allowed to eat. But um, then I found myself like overeating during that time. So then if you're not like fully consistent with it, then you're eating past those hunger cues. So then I found myself eating past my hunger cues on days that I wasn't consistent, if that makes sense. Um, and so it's just kind of like it's perfectly fine to do. You would just need to be consistent with it. You would still want to have healthy choices because at the end of the day, the way that we maintain our weight is eating at the maintenance calories. The way that we lose weight is a calorie deficit. So, the way that you would lose weight with intuitive eating is you would stop at satisfied and create that calorie deficit with your fitness, or stop at 80% full. And then with intermittent fasting, you only are allowed that specific window of eating, and then that's supposed to create your calorie deficit. But the thing is that you could technically still overeat in that time period. But yeah, so it's just so many factors that go into it, and I don't know if I made sense explain that in a way that makes sense. But mainly, yes, fasting is okay. It does have the same failure rate as all other diets, which is 95%. The main thing is staying consistent, making sure you're still trusting yourself to have healthy options, and grabbing the foods that are going to nourish your body. And yeah, um, I hope that helps. But yeah, fasting is okay. I personally just found myself eating past hungry, stuffing myself. I mean, eating past full, stuffing myself. And then times where I wasn't consistent with it, then I was teaching my body to eat past full, if that makes sense. So then I'm in a calorie surplus and then I'm gaining weight, which is the opposite of what I want to do. So, yeah, but with all diets, it's all about calories in versus calories out. So still want to be burning more than you eat to lose weight. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Is there any other questions about like fasting or anything else that I could answer more in depth if that was too general? Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for being on with me. I am going to post this presentation to YouTube because Instagram, you guys can't see the actual presentation on here. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Have a great night. And it's Coach Indy signing out. Bye.